Today, we're talking about something different. Not just another tool, not just a script. We're looking at the anatomy of an autonomous hacker, a threat that actually thinks for itself. Let's get into it. Okay, let me just ask you this. What if a hacker never, ever needed to sleep? Imagine that. No fatigue, no human error, just relentless attacks 24/7, all at the speed of code. Sounds like something out of a movie, right? Well, it's not. It's the whole idea behind this new offensive security framework. And it has a name, Lilith. As you can see here, it's described as a complete, self-improving, and autonomous offensive ecosystem. We're going to break down exactly what makes that so incredibly dangerous. So, Lilith is really a fundamental shift in how we think about hacking. We're moving on from the old way, a human operator juggling a bunch of different scripts and making decisions on the fly. Lilith, it pulls everything together into one single unified platform that runs with, and this is the key part, zero human intervention. All right, so how does a thing like this even think? This is where we get into the core intelligence layer, its brain. And you have to understand, this is not like the AI you might use every day. It's fundamentally different because it's built from the ground up to bypass the very safety features that keep most AI in check. At the heart of Lilith's brain is something the documentation calls a dark LMM. Now, you've probably heard of LLMs, or large language models. That's the same tech behind things like ChatGPT. But these are different. They are specifically designed, or you could say jailbroken, to just ignore all the ethical guardrails. Their one and only purpose? To generate malware, to craft exploits, and to think exactly like an attacker, with absolutely no restrictions. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Lilith doesn't just have one brain. It's more like a whole crew of specialized AI personas, each one an expert in its field. You've got Worm GPT for whipping up malware, Evil GPT for mobile attacks, and then you get to the really scary ones, these maximum-level jailbroken models like Zero Day, which can find brand new vulnerabilities, and Chaos AI, which is literally designed for destructive operations. It's like having an entire elite hacking team, but they're all AI. And get this brain is designed to be, for all intents and purposes, unstoppable. They call it the eternal AI engine, and it makes sure Lilith always has access to that intelligence. So what happens if an AI provider blocks it or goes down? No big deal. It just automatically fails over to another one. It has a whole pool of options, including local models and even anonymous Tor services, just to make sure its brain stays online no matter what. Okay, so we've looked at the brain. Now, how does that brain actually act? Well, it all works on this continuous, relentless attack loop that lets it adapt to any target environment in real time. And this right here is the heartbeat of the whole system, the agentic loop. It's a simple but brutally effective four-step process. First, it thinks. It analyzes everything it knows about the target. Then it plans its next move, its next exploit. Third, it acts. It actually executes a real command in the system. And finally, it observes the result and feeds that new information right back into the loop to start the whole cycle all over again. It's this constant process of learning and adapting, over and over and over. And here's a perfect real-world example right from the system's logs. You can see its reasoning right there. Identified writable Etsy/password. It knows it has an opening. The plan? Injecting a new root user. And then bam, the command to do exactly that. It shows you that direct, logical line from thought to action. No hesitation. So you might be asking, when does this loop ever stop? Well, it only stops when it wins. It has these predefined victory conditions. These are the endgame scenarios. Getting full control with remote code execution, becoming the domain admin, stealing a bunch of high-value data, or setting up a sneaky backdoor for long-term access. Until it hits one of those, it just does not stop. Okay, this next part, this is what takes Lilith from dangerous to, well, something else entirely. It's designed to be completely self-sustaining. You can't just starve it of resources and hope it goes away. So how on earth does it stay running? An AI brain like this needs API keys to work, right? But Lilith doesn't need a person to give them to it. When its keys get banned or expire, a self-healing protocol just kicks in, and it goes out onto the internet and harvests new ones, all by itself. And here's exactly how it pulls that off. First, it creates a new identity, a temporary email address. Then it uses browser automation to go to an AI provider's sign-up page. It automatically fills out the forms, clicks the links, even verifies the email. Then it scrapes the page, finds the brand new API key, and get this, injects that key directly into its own live configuration. All of that happens without a human ever touching a keyboard. And we're not talking about some obscure platforms here. The system has automation ready to go for major AI providers like Grok and Hugging Face, specifically exploiting their free tiers and sign-up credits. It's literally weaponizing the industry's own infrastructure to fuel itself. All right, so let's put it all together. We have an autonomous brain, a relentless attack loop, and a self-healing system that can't be starved. So, what's the bottom line? How serious is this, really? This system's own documentation gives us the answer in one single, crystal clear word: critical. This isn't just some proof of concept. It's described as a major offensive capability that could cause, well, substantial harm. And this quote from its own operational playbook, it just perfectly captures the whole philosophy. When Lilith enters a network, she doesn't just scan, she dominates. This thing isn't built to be passive. It's built for an active, aggressive takeover. From the moment it gets in, its goal is total network dominance. And just to put that in industry terms for a second, Lilith's capabilities map directly across the entire MITRE ATT&CK framework. You know, the gold standard for tracking what bad guys do. From initial access and execution all the way through to persistence and evading defenses, it covers the full playbook of a sophisticated cyber attack. And it's not picky about its targets either. The platform has a built-in payload generator that can whip up weaponized reverse shells for basically every major operating system out there: Windows, Linux, macOS, even Android. It's a true cross-platform threat. And finally, after it's achieved its goal, Lilith runs what it calls a sterilized protocol. It's designed to be a ghost. It wipes the system logs, deletes all its own files and artifacts, kills its own processes, and even changes file timestamps to blend in. It erases the entire forensic trail to hide any proof that it was ever there. So, all of this leaves us with a really tough question, doesn't it? Our cyber defenses, our whole security posture, is built to stop human-led attacks, things that operate at human speed. But when a threat can think for itself, heal itself, and just keep going indefinitely, it forces us to rethink everything. How do you adapt your defenses to fight a hacker that never sleeps?